Okay, I'd like to welcome you all to the Plan Commission of the Village of Morton for the January meetings. This is Monday, January 23rd, 2017. Let's have a roll call.
Elam, Farrell, Keach,
Here.
Knapp,
Here.
Pagel,
Here.
Ritterbusch,
Here.
Smock,
Here.
Westlake,
Here.
Zobrist.
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. We need to approve the minutes from the last meeting, which is October of 2016. For those of you who were here at that meeting, are there any comments or corrections? If not, I would entertain a motion.
Move to approve. A second.
And who was the second?
Westlake seconds.
All in favor, aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Thank you.
Okay, so tonight we have two items on the agenda, basically for public hearings. And before we do our public hearings, we're going to have our attorney, Patrick, give us an explanation of what that means.
Thank you. Public hearings are being held tonight pursuant to published notice. Any person wishing to make a comment to the Plan Commission will be afforded an opportunity to do so and will give their testimony under oath or affirmation. Any person living within 250 feet of the property at issue wishing to cross-examine a testifying witness will also be afforded an opportunity to do so at the discretion of our chair on matters germane to the issues before the Plan Commission. No member of the public may address the commission or cross-examine the applicant until recognized by our chair. At the conclusion of the public hearing, the Plan Commission will make a recommendation to the Village Board. The Plan Commission makes recommendations only. The Village Board is responsible for taking final action on these matters.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
So the first item tonight is petition number 17-01SP. Kaiser Electrical Contractor, Inc. is requesting a special use for a contractor's office and warehouse with related outdoor storage at 340 Erie Avenue, zoned I-2. And so is there anyone from Kaiser Electric who would like to make a comment about their request tonight?
Yes.
Come and be sworn in.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
I affirm.
Okay, thank you. State your name and address there, please, too.
My name's Al Kaiser. I want to thank you all for being on this board. I can tell you guys have a blast here. The paperwork that you have is all the explanation that I have. If you have any questions for me, that would be great. We're basically moving one lot over. We're moving one lot south from where we are now due to the fact that someone is interested in purchasing my building. So I am happy to build a new building that's a little bit larger lot and a little bit larger building because we're pretty full.
Does anybody have a question for Mr. Kaiser? Thanks, Al.
Thank you.
Is there anyone in the audience who would like to make a comment or a question? Okay. Discussion? If not, I will entertain a motion.
So moved. Second.
So we have a motion and a second to approve the special use for petition 17-01SP.
Craig,
roll.
did you make the motion?
I did.
Okay. Keach,
Yes.
Knapp,
Yes.
Pagel,
Yes.
Ritterbusch,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Westlake,
Yes.
Zobrist.
Yes.
We have a favorable recommendation.
Okay. All right, so the second item is petition number 17-02 SP. Dan and Christine Neep are requesting a special use to allow for outdoor storage at 340 Detroit Avenue, zoned B-3/SP. The property currently has a special use for the storage and display of cars for sale. And I think Mr. Neep is planning to be here, but he's not quite here yet.
If I could, maybe just a
Fill in some
Right, we got a
background.
free minute here. I'd like to introduce the board to Brad Marks,
Okay.
who is now a new Village of Morton employee. Shouldn't say brand new, he started in October, November. Yeah. So this is his first meeting, so he will be kind of doing what I've been doing so far here tonight, probably much better than I. So he'll look forward to working with each one of you, so I just wanted to introduce him to you.
Okay. Welcome,
Happy to be here.
Mr. Marks.
Thank you.
Will you be doing plan reviews then too, Brad?
Plan reviews?
Plan reviews for, no?
No.
Okay.
Brad has done some inspections for, the plaza downtown he worked on this summer, and then some other projects around town, so I'm going to be glad to have him. We've got things to do, so.
Do you have anything else to talk about, Roger?
I didn't plan to sing any songs, and Al has already heard me sing, so I don't think we want to do that, so.
Okay.
Roger, I do have some questions maybe we could
Yeah.
answer about the petition. Were the four neighbors were contacted regarding the request?
Yes.
Were there any complaints or disagreements with the
I
proposal?
never heard from anyone. No one contacted us. Yeah, we send out that notice to everyone within 250 feet of that property,
Okay.
which actually there wasn't very many people because, to the west is a huge field. And then, so that's a person, and then the other properties are pretty good size, so it's not very far reaching, but we did put the legal notice in the paper, as we're required to do by law, and a copy of that is in the folder, Jeff, so.
Okay. Here.
And the proposed fence in red that's listed on the diagram,
Yes.
do we know like height or design, or like, is it a
Well,
see-through fence or a privacy?
That's up for discussion. I really maybe would rather wait to talk about that
Okay.
when the petitioner gets here. We will be addressing that, though.
Roger, do you want to wait till the petitioner gets here to talk about what led to the?
Yeah, it
To
might
this?
be,
Okay.
yeah, right. Is somebody at the door
Yeah,
there?
somebody just tugged on the door back there.
No. Casper.
Okay, so you're just in time, and we're just getting ready to talk about it. Okay, so petition, let's talk about, this is a public hearing. Petition number 17-02 SP. Dan and Christine Neep are requesting a special use to allow for outdoor storage at 340 Detroit Avenue, Zone B-3/SP. The property currently has a special use for the storage and display of cars for sale. And so, Dan, would you like to stand up and explain the reason for your request?
Dan, if you could, before you speak, we have you sworn in by our court reporter, so if you could approach Arlene for me, please.
Raise your right hand, please. Do you solemnly swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? I do. Thank you. You can go to the podium. Speak into the mic.
I'm doing this in response to outdoor storage. I have things outside my fence. I had some trailers out there, and I was told the proper route to go would be to get a special use to store parts and tires in the trailers outside, because it is not within the current guidelines for B3, I believe. The state, I can't put tires outside, they have to be inside, or I get in trouble with the state laws, even if it's a used tire or new tire, for the mosquito, I'm not sure what the exact law is. So that was one of the main reasons, and then I facilitate the rebuilding of cars. I do a lot of Honda Civics, so in the trailers I have a lot of Honda parts that aren't available to be inside. Then I don't have, it takes up the working space for the employees. So that is the, in a nutshell. I don't know if I answered the questions properly there, since I'm so well prepared tonight. I apologize for that.
Okay.
So I would be extending my fence to allow for more inside space to keep things that are being worked on inside the fence versus outside the fence also.
Is your current fence the black portion on this?
Yes, and then the
diagram?
red would
And
be
then
the new.
red is the new.
Yes.
So, as I drove by there, and I drove down into Matt Core's parking lot and looked, and I have a question, and that is what's going to change in the general overall appearance of the property, other than having a fence there? I mean, are there things that are spread around your property that are going to be put inside the fence?
Correct. I think what I have outside the fence now is just basically cars, but I can't.
Okay.
I just swore that I would tell the truth, so I'm not,
Okay.
I don't want to say something that's,
All right.
for the most part, I've tried, and I'm trying to better that. I'm currently trying to find a property to put additional cars so they're not on my location. So I'm trying to remove more vehicles, actually.
So are those cars all for sale, everything? There's a lot of
They're
cars
either
on
for
your-
sale or for repair.
Okay, so the clients they're waiting for repair.
Right.
What type of fence and how high? Give us a description of the fence you're
Would be
proposing.
wood like the existing fence, and in the same plane as that, I guess, because the ditch does go down, so I think there might be a potential height issue there. I guess if I like a fence to look straight this way, if it follows the contour of the land. I think that looks worse personally, but
Yeah.
with the horizon, I don't know if that's proper.
Roger, do we have a height restriction that fence has to meet to be able to screen? And do we have a restriction on the height of anything behind the fence that needs to be covered?
Well, 6 foot would be the restriction right now, but having said that, I think we should be looking at maybe an 8-foot fence, of which he would have to get a variance, but if that 8-foot fence,
Were a part of your recommendation for approval after talking with council, that would be a reason for the zoning board of appeals to grant him a variance, because it's not something that he is wanting to do or wanted to do or did without permission or anything. It's something that he'd be directed to do by you and then the village board, should they approve that special use.
What about matching the existing fence, and would that have to be increased in height also?
that, I would think that it would, because that's clearly in view as you drive down Detroit Street.
Right.
So you're suggesting that all the fences be 8, all the fences be 8? Should there be a requirement that nothing be stacked above the 8-foot?
I would think that there shouldn't be vehicles stacked or anything above the that fence.
The 8-foot line.
That should be a part of the motion when one of you makes that motion.
Mhm.
And as long as we're going down that road, the gate that we have there should be closed. Obviously, they've got to open it to bring things in and out, but it should be closed because that's the purpose of it, is to screen. And the other thing is that that never has been done, Dan, is landscaping. We need to have something out front in terms of landscaping like most other businesses would have.
Was I required to do that at some point?
No,
Okay.
but I'm now would be a time. I think that should be a part of this motion.
In front of the fence or in front of my,
It would be out in the grass area out in front of your parking lot out front. I'm not talking about
In the
a
Detroit.
wall of evergreen
In the
trees.
Detroit right away there, you mean?
Well, it's his property. It's their property. It's just adjacent to that pavement.
I mean, adjacent to the
Yes,
Detroit
exactly.
right away.
Yeah, yeah.
Mhm. Any other questions for the petitioner?
So how do you feel about the 8-foot fence? No
That's-
problem?
I don't have a problem with that.
Would you plan to keep your stuff piled less than 8 feet then?
I don't think I pile it more than, I
Or-
don't think I have a piling problem right now.
Or
I mean, I don't,
trailers or whatever?
well, I'd have to honestly go measure what my trailers were.
Right.
They might be 9 feet. I honestly don't.
Okay,
So yes, that's a potential problem. Not a huge problem, but
So storing in trailers is not legal, but behind the fence it would be?
Not really.
that's what I was asking for,
Yeah.
correct?
Well, the store, not necessarily the trailer issue. Our ordinance prohibits trailers to be used like that other than on a construction site for a job trailer or an office. And I think there's an exclusion in there for someone that has a fundraising type event where they need like a temporary thing, like when the Young Life used to sell Christmas trees, they had a little trailer there that they went in to stay warm, that type of use. That's the only time trailers are to be used.
So even within the fence, the trailers wouldn't really be legal, wouldn't be permitted,
No,
okay?
not according to the ordinance as it exists right now.
But I was asking for that, was I not?
We're asking to store in this, what was an open area before and now is going to be enclosed, but not a trailer.
I concur with Roger. Dan and I, this case is derivative, so the commission has some context. This case is derivative of code enforcement proceedings, and Dan and I had some meetings because his existing use and intended future use wasn't entirely consistent with our regulations, to discuss potential options for him to bring his uses within compliance to the code, and this was one of the options suggested. This would take care of, in my opinion, and Roger, you can speak up if you don't concur, but this would allow outdoor storage of parts. This would allow storage of the parts cars, junk cars, non-inventory ready-to-sell cars, but it would not address the trailer issue. We don't have a special use or a variance mechanism that would allow for the.
I guess I was misunderstood. I thought I was able to put those trailers inside the fence. I thought that we had discussed that. So I don't.
Yeah, that's my, I agree.
This understanding on my part, I apologize for the fact that wasn't clarified between us, but.
I don't see that in your petition though, either. I don't see that.
Well, I wrote things about storing parts, and I know I did that, but I know
Yeah.
that was my what was the hardships, I believe. Is that not correct? I don't have it in front of me.
No, yeah, you did mention that you needed outside storage for tires
Yeah.
and used tires. I just didn't understand
And that's where I was
The
under
requirements for trailer
That's where I was
storage.
under the thought process that the
You need
trailers
co-
were.
You said you need covered outside storage. That's what you said.
Yes.
So,
I was under the understanding that the trailers were part of that, and I thought everybody understood that, so that's where there's.
okay. So-
Did we not discuss that, Roger, or are we just all on different pages?
Yeah, I don't think, we're not quite on the same page there,
Right.
but there might be a solution that we might be able to reach would be I'm not familiar with the EPA law, but they need to be inside, is that correct? Maybe like one of those little, I don't know how many tires we're talking about. I mean, maybe a storage type building that you would sit there, which would be permissible, you could do that according to our ordinance. And then that would also satisfy that EPA requirement.
Like an outbuilding of some
Yeah.
sort?
Right.
Like a shed?
Mhm.
That would just address tires, you're just saying, not parts and supplies like we have in item 1?
Again, you're gonna have to speak up.
I'd just ask if that would just cover items 2 and 3, which dealt with the tires. We still have to deal with parts and supplies if. that
Well,
were-
as long as the parts are inside that fenced-in area, that was our concern when Pat and I had,
But your intent was to put parts and supplies in a covered space.
yeah.
Correct.
Yeah, this petition asks for covered, or saying it needs covered outside storage. So I don't know what that means exactly.
I honestly, I was under the impression I was able to put the trailers behind the fence and store things in them. That's what I thought. But obviously, we were.
So when if someone fashions a motion, though, it can't, we almost have to say that it can't include trailers at this point, right? I mean, would that be what you'd say?
They're not permitted anyway, so
It's not-
I'll leave that to,
Yeah, I mean, the special use that's within the scope of what you can grant is outdoor storage. So,
Okay,
storage within the trailer wouldn't be within the scope of that,
okay.
so.
So that'd be a separate enforcement issue.
Correct.
Okay.
Does it make the whole thing kind of moot that there's a fence there, but would that be required with an outbuilding?
not with the outbuilding, but he's still gonna have things that aren't gonna be either in a trailer or, is that right, Dan? You'd still have things that would be stored within that fence boundary,
Yeah, I suppose.
fenders or doors or whatever they might be.
I mean, the whole idea was to have them not out in the weather also. I mean, that's what the whole point of it was. I mean, I sell trailers too, so I guess I'm gonna have trailers on my lot, so it's kind of.
And that's permissible.
So are we really addressing your situation then if you can't have outside storage in trailers? I mean, the fence is gonna cover a certain amount of your,
Yes and no.
so we're really not addressing the situation you came.
Not 100%
you'd like
correct.
to have.
We had 4 code enforcement concerns. One was grass, which Mr. Neep rectified. Trailers, outdoor storage of parts, and outdoor storage of inoperable vehicles that are parts cars or for rehabilitation. And so this would address outdoor storage of parts in those cars, the wrecked cars being rebuilt or used for parts. And I'm not using the right technical terms, I'm sure. And the third issue he's rectified, it doesn't address the fourth, which is trailers, but there is no mechanism under our code. I mean, even if there isn't even a rezoning option, which would make storage in the trailers permissible, it's just not something the code permits. Absent the few exceptions Roger cited.
So would you want us to have, go through with the special use where you can't use trailers with it anyway? I mean, or do you want to rethink
I guess I don't.
position, or?
Yeah, I don't fully understand, I mean, I understand you don't want storage in a trailer, but how do you differentiate what I have on my lot as a trailer that has storage in it or doesn't, I guess? You know, I don't.
How do you use it? That's
Well,
what
if
I mean.
it's-
It
if
would be
it's
how
for
you
sa- I'm
use
just
it.
saying if something's first, I guess to address what he's saying, if I can't have a trailer on my lot or how, I don't want to agree to something and then it's like, well, now you can't have trailers for sale on your lot. So that's what I'm.
I don't think that's not what the code is, that's not what I heard the law is. The law is, and it's not what I'm saying, it's what I'm hearing the ordinance is, and that is that it's okay to, you're selling vehicles on your lot.
Right.
And you can sell trailers as a part of that. Empty trailers. But you can't use trailers as a storage device on the lot. Is that what the law
Correct.
states?
And our motion doesn't need to say anything about trailers, correct?
No, it doesn't.
Right.
And
So
it wouldn't.
it would,
That would be somewhere along the lines, my misunderstanding, I guess.
yeah.
So that's where.
The motion would just be about the fence and the height of the fence and the stacking of items above the height of the fence, correct?
So and so my question was, now that he knows that he can't use trailers, does this fence solve your problem?
Oh, no, I mean,
You know?
it doesn't solve the trailer problem, but it definitely
solve
helps
some other-
other,
Yeah.
yeah. I
All
mean,
right.
I think
Okay.
it's
A step.
Okay,
a housekeeping.
okay. Any other comments or questions? Thanks, Dan.
Thank you.
Is there anybody in the audience who would like to ask a question or make a comment? Any other discussion on the board? Or from Roger, if you have anything else that you want to say, Roger?
No.
Okay, at this time, I would entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve this special use with the stipulation that the fence be 8 foot high and also the existing fence be extended to be 8 foot high. And it would be one that blocks the view, not like a chain link with slats in it. It would be a wood fence or something similar.
Okay, I also heard Roger asking that our motion would also include that he would provide landscaping along Detroit.
Yes.
And the
That's it.
stacking.
No stacking above the 8 foot, nothing above the 8 foot line, right?
Right.
We'll make that a part of that.
And gate remains closed unless
Correct.
being used as a gate.
I asked what the landscaping rule is.
Good question.
I don't know how many feet of frontage you have there, Dan, but you divide that by 2, and you need 15, and each tree is worth 15 points, and you need half of that. Say you have 150 feet, you need 75 points, and a 2-inch diameter shade tree or a 5-foot-tall evergreen is worth 15 points. We're not talking a screening.
In the 35 feet out front, or?
In that grass area between your pavement and your property line.
So that's spelled out in the ordinance? Is what you're saying?
Yeah, I can get you a copy of that.
That's relative to new construction, or what is the, you're just asking for that, or?
You're asking to build something, and when we do site plan review, that is a part of that, yeah.
Second?
We have a second? Okay. Roll call?
Knapp,
Yes.
Pagel,
Yes.
Ritterbusch,
Yes.
Smock,
Yes.
Westlake,
Yes.
Zobrist,
Yes.
Keach.
Yes.
Favorable recommendation.
Okay. Thank you very much. And this closes our public hearing portion of the meeting. And we have no other business. Roger has already spoken.
Yes, sir.
And so I'll entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.